Rebatch soap. So these are end cuts and little bits of soft soap that I can use to make another full bar of soap. So we've got that much. Let's see if I can find some more. Oh yeah, I got lots more. Let's do these. So we're gonna have about 500 grams. If I have too much soap, well, then I can just use it for soap dough or something else. But I wanna make sure I have enough. So we're gonna rebatch and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, the fastest way to do this if you don't have a Molinex, which I do have, is to use this handy dandy tool that I introduced you to. This is a julienne shredder. They're very heavy duty and they're super, super fun. Now this soap isn't caustic, but I am gonna put on some gloves just because working with soap can be drying on my hands. So we're just gonna put on some gloves. And I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see better what's going on. If you don't have a grater or a Molinex, this works really, really well. And graters are actually harder than this is. It goes really fast. You get small pieces. And because it's soap dough, super fast. Now this is also how I make sprinkles like Jimmy's, because each one of these separates out and is super cool. So yeah, this is actually sometimes, and I'm only doing like a pound or so, far less work because I don't have to wash. All I have to do is wash this tiny little piece instead of, you know, everything. So I will probably fast forward this part or not. This is a very, very, very sharp tool, so be careful not to cut yourself. Ooh. Okay, so the last little pieces will chop up. As long as I can shred, I will shred. So. We're really, ouch! See, yeah, very, very sharp. Very careful. The meaty parts of your hands will bleed. All right, I'm gonna go do some first aid and then I'll come back. All right, sorry about that. Very sharp tool. It's the reason it's, you know, so fast and easy to use. So just break up a few of these. And these will just break up. This might be a little bit of a problem. We're going to turn this into yogurt soap because I find that when my soap just melts better when you add. This is harder, so I'm going to make sure the pieces are smaller. If I can. I bet that would actually curl. Ooh, that's a nice. Look at that. Easily sidetracked, but look at that. It's the perfect texture for curls. Very pretty. Once I've turned them into Rebatch, that's it. They're melted down, so I may as well make a few more elements while I'm here. I'm going to show you how cool this tool is. Spreading the soap. You could probably use your soap planer if that's what you've got too, but this gives you smaller pieces, so it'll melt faster. So my soap already has water buffalo yogurt in it. Maybe I'll put the sheep yogurt I bought in it too. So it's a water buffalo sheep yogurt, sheep milk. We have a brand here that tastes absolutely amazing. It's absolutely lovely. Let me get myself again, so I had to stop there. This is quite soft soap. It says soap I could use for soap dough, actually. I made about a tablespoon of this yogurt. About a tablespoon. And we're also going to add about 1/4 cup of my lavender rosemary hydrosol, since this is lavender soap. And about a tablespoon of sodium lactate in solution. So I'm going to give this a little mix. Now you want to use as little additional liquid as possible because it all has to evaporate out again. And if you use too much just to get it liquefied, you're going to have shrinkage issues as it dries. So as long as you just use a little bit, and most of it gets used up when you're melting, gets evaporated as you melt, you'll be better off than if you kind of go crazy just to get that smooth texture. So I will be right back after I put this in the microwave for a minute, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so halfway through I decided to check on it, and I'm glad I did because we're already getting quite a bit of melting going on. And we'll go put it back in for another 30 seconds. So the real test of whether or not this is where it needs to be is when we get our colorant in there. Now I'm going to be making this one kind of a sea green. So background is going to be our blue. Yeah, let's do a bluey greeny color. This one is from the Chemistry Connection. This is the mica. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there, just a sprinkle. And if we need more, well, we'll add more. Yeah, I think we need a little more. Quite a bit more. There we go. I'm going to get my scraper out because we want this to be as even as possible. And this colorant doesn't seem to be doing very much for the soap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a different kind of colorant. So we've added quite a bit to that, and I think I'll use that one more for a painting soap than a soap colorant mica. See if I get something of Stephanie's around her here. Hers are really good. I just want to scrape around the sides so we get it all in there. So yeah, it just pretty much absorbed all the colors. Any of it in there. Alrighty. We're gonna go with, alright, so we're gonna use a little ultramarine because I know that packs a pretty powerful punch. Whether or not it'll mix really well in here, I don't know. Wow, I'm having a hard time making a blue soap today. Let's see if the peacock blue from Steph's Micas and More gets through to this soap. I just want a little bit of blue in there. Usually all it takes about a tablespoon for like 200 bars, and I've used, well, at least that. I think I might have finally gotten my blue. Thank you, Steph's. Okay, so I'm going to mix this and heat it up one more time. Now the reason you don't want to heat it up too fast is you'll end up with burned soap or dried out spots, which will give you clumps, right? And you don't want clumps. So I'm just going to make sure I get all my edges scraped down, because we are definitely not in the you can pour phase here. And we're going to let it be uneven in texture just to give the soap a little bit of depth, because we're doing a picture, right? And we don't want a solid color, right? We want it to have gradients, but we can't really control that in this type of soap. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be a little lazy and let it do its thing. And isn't that beautiful? So we've got a beautiful just soaps. I need my brush. That one's really going to be dusty. This one is not going to get any texture. I'm going to have to dust just dump some of this stuff. I'm going to try to move it before I do that, because I want all of the details of the bee intact. And if you have this much mica, you're not going to get that worked. All right, now we'll get the details. I'm going to go get my blue soap, and we're going to scent it with High Street. So this is lavender soap that I'm now adding a little bit of the Lush Dupe High Street. Now, essential oils go really well with anything from Lush, so I'm just gonna put in the soap really quick. Now, we don't want it to cool too quickly or we'll be in trouble here. Looks like I'm gonna get 4 and a bit, maybe. Definitely this is gonna be a pressed in one. No. Okay, I need it's turning into dough here. So I'm going to take a knife and scrape. So you can get as much of this. Oh my gosh. Rebatch is hard, guys. It wiggles around on you. But if you get your fingers wet, it doesn't stick to your gloves as bad. So you can kind of treat it like dough too. Hopefully we'll get better impressions on the others, but and I can plane these backs of these. Oof. Now these aren't bad order. These are just leftovers that I'm having fun with and seeing if I can do, because I don't think I've ever done a soap with a mold like this before. Now because this is a silicone mold, I could reheat everything, but it might rise up on me. Should I try or should I leave it as it is? I think I'm going to try because this is pretty rough looking. And we got a lot of wasted soap here, so let's just get as much of it as we can back on the bars. It's looking like a milled soap, little pieces all pressed. Oh, fun. I love playing in my soapy kitchen. And these are going to be super fun to use. Okay, so I'm going to give it 20 seconds in the microwave. And we'll see what happens. Let's get all of this off. So, where's my scraper? Wow. I'll be right back. So I put it on for 20 seconds and it really did seem to work. Just don't push too hard. It's very, very soft. All right, we'll just let this sit, cool. And then we'll pop them out. I'm really excited about these.
All right, here.
And then we'll get on with our SpongeBob project.
Let's see what we got here. I don't know. Oh, that's pretty. Right, for a Rebatch, that's a pretty soap. There we go. Now, Rebatch is always going to look rustic. Unless you really like, I guess I could have made it hotter. And but these are just for our personal use. And it's still super pretty. It's still super pretty. Look at that. So if you don't want to melt and pour and you have leftover bits from your soap projects, why don't you try using a little bit of sodium lactate and milk if you're not averse to that, and see if it helps your soap to melt down to a more fluid and beautiful. Let's see this big, which is the prettiest one. We'll hold that one up the closest. Oh. But they all have that antique kind of look because, yeah. So I'll show you how to fix the backs if you want to do that. So just hold on for a sec. Okay, I had a crazy idea. I'm going to try a heat gun. I'm going to try my heat gun. That's a no. We're burning soap here. That's a no. Well, that was fun to try. So you can do that with melt and pour. You can't do that with this one. So before I burn it, I'm going to get my planer. Hold on. Okay, you can use a planer, but I'm just going to use this. It's really, really soft. So if you don't want to do this or you don't need to do this, just leave it. It's fine. I just want to leave it. It really kind of got crusty there. I honestly... Now, one thing about Rebatch soap is it can be a little crumbly. So be careful if you attempt to plane it. There, that's a little better. So there we go. Let's see if these float. That'll be fun. Let me get a bowl and we can test it out. All right, let's try this out. Let's see if it'll float. We got a little stein here. And it floats! We got a floaty soap. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you enjoyed this, please click like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about rebatching, don't hesitate to leave a message below. Message me directly. I'm pretty good at answering questions. And if you don't, you can always send me an email at jenspice1@yahoo.ca. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye for now.